What?
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good morning. Happy Friday, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Boston Scientific. We on YouTube, we on Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It's Friday, baby. That means it is Cowboys Fan Friday. We got the mailbag popping today. Got some fun questions, good questions we'll get to. Dominated by YouTube, by the way. The Bomb Squad always has fantastic questions, so we'll get into that. In the roundup, both the current Cowboys running back, the former Cowboys running back, they made headlines yesterday, and I hope our guy Twan is here because I would love to hear how he would feel if this specific thing were to happen with our former running back and one Ezekiel Elliott. But good morning, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Hey, y'all let me know how my sound sounds. I switched the mic, so I'm messing with the audio on this mic. I want to make sure I'm not too loud. I want to make sure I'm not spiking. I'm still messing with some of these settings here. I do this kind of every year. The last 2 years I've done this. I have the microphone that I had custom made by my guy Brian. Salute to Brian down in 717. He put my one of my favorite tag team duos of all time, Road Warriors. He put them on here, plus Iron Man, one of my favorite MCU characters, on the mic. I usually bring it back around WrestleMania. I might keep it. We'll see. I might just rock with this moving forward. I always mess with stuff, trying to make sure everything good to go. So what's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all? With thank you, my lady. Appreciate that. It is Friday. Shouldn't be a crazy long show. If you want to call in today to discuss some of the questions we'll get from the Bomb Squad, you can. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. Make sure y'all come through. It's Fan Friday. It's about y'all. So there is no topic that is, off limits. Usually I try to say stay on topic, but there is no topic off limits. So make sure y'all come through with it. LOD, baby. Yes, sir. Legion of Doom. Come on now. One of the best of all time, man. One of the best of all time. And I used to have the drop. I thought I wasn't going to need it anymore with Cooper Rush, but he's back, so I'll probably bring that back here. But one of the best intros of all time, one of the best themes. When you hear that, what a rush, come on, you just know it's about to get busy, man. You know it's about to get busy. Anybody that's into the WrestleMania, I'll be watching next week. Not going this year, but I'll be watching, so we can rap about that over on Facebook. If AL, she definitely does, bro. Oh, real quick before we get into Cowboy stuff, my dog is right here. It's raining outside. It's storming out there. If y'all hear, y'all let me know. And he gets a little scary when it gets like that. So he kind of gets clingy. So if you see Mozart pop up on the screen today, don't worry about it. He's all right. He's just a little nervous, but he's chilling right here. If I need to step to the side, just give me a couple seconds. I'll get him out and we'll be good to go. But just letting y'all know he might pop on the show today. So don't get too surprised if that happens. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this roundup, Cowboys Nation.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey! Yo. Well, it happened. It happened pretty fast, man. Tony Pollard signed that franchise tag. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna get me, no sirree, Bob. Half the damn Cowboys Nation was trying to, rescind the franchise tag for Tony Pollard. Man, so many people, pull the tag. Hey, I can dig it. I know why y'all wanted to pull the tag, and we'll talk about it. But here's the brass taxes, I think is what the saying I'm looking for. I don't know. But here's the facts of the franchise tag. He'll get paid at the very minimum, unless there's an extension, $10.1 million this season. And all of that will account towards the 2023 cap. They have until July 17th to work out a deal, which would ultimately be less than the $10.1 million on the cap for 2023. Not necessarily less in monies, but it won't be 10 mil against the cap. Here's two things about this situation. Number one, I don't think Dallas is in the business anymore of paying running backs big money. So if there is any extension prior to July 17th, I think it will likely come, much shorter than that 6-year deal that Ezekiel Elliott got, and it will come much cheaper than what we saw previously. Which leads me to number two, why Tony Pollard signed that franchise tag. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this $10.1 million now, because if you look at that running back free agent market, that $10 million that he's guaranteed this year, no matter what, would be the third highest total guarantees of all the running backs that signed contracts in the offseason so far. In fact, it's only a few million more short than the highest paid guaranteed contract of the running backs in the free agent market this year, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is going to be getting $13 million guaranteed over the length of his contract. And David Montgomery is going to be getting $11 million guaranteed over the length of his contract. Pretty sure his agent and TP looked at the landscape and said, we'd be fools not to sign this deal right now and then work on something for later. Whether it be a 2-3 year extension, but this is guaranteeing them almost the same amount of monies that a David Montgomery and Miles Sanders are going to get in a 3 or 4 year contract. Now, with the league, moving more towards the duo and committee approach, I don't think the Cowboys are going to fall back into the Ezekiel Elliott type of contracts anymore. I think they're finally understanding the landscape around the league. That bell cow running back stuff is basically extinct now. Not to say there isn't a Derrick Henry that's floating around. But let's look at the history over the last 3 to 6 years. If you're going to be a bell cow, if you're going to get that type of money, in my opinion, you either got to be an elite dual threat, and you have to have elite availability, if we're being honest. Both make signing running backs a huge risk in today's landscape, because this is one of the positions that get banged up the most and where you see the wear and tear get on these guys. If you look at when Zeke first came into the league in 2016, there were 12 running backs who had 17 plus attempts, 19 who had 15 plus attempts. Fast forward to last season, 5 running backs had 17 plus attempts. 13 had 15 plus attempts. This is not your grandfather's NFL no more. This ain't even your daddy's NFL no more. The committee, the duo approach, it is prevalent now. That is the way to go. So when you look at it that way, is it worth paying running backs all that money? Let's just be real. It's not. It's pretty much failing every time you do it. Started off with Le'Veon Bell, Gurley, Zeke. None of those guys are on the team anymore. We've seen what happened with Zeke, whether you say it's because of Kellen or not, whatever. That's the problem, right? When you bring in another coordinator, that guy is still under contract, and you thinking, we're going to give him the ball 340 times. You're not. Coordinator doesn't look at it that way. And you really don't want to give him the ball that many damn times anyway. Derrick Henry, they're looking to move off from him. Dalvin Cook, they're looking to move off from him. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, both franchise tag. The league has spoken, man. You can not like it, but the league has spoken. And it's not like there's nothing to like. The duo and the committee approach has worked. It ain't new either, but it's worked. So smart franchises, I think, should attack this position in that way. Period. I don't think you should ever be looking to do bell cow stuff anymore at that position. Speaking of Zeke, speaking of bell cows, reports came out yesterday, right, that Ezekiel Elliott has narrowed his list down to 3 teams. The Cincinnati Bengals, the New York Jets, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, look, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the Eagles. Before I get to how we feel as a fan base about it, I just don't think it makes sense to go to Philly. The way that Philly runs, I don't think Zeke fits that. A lot of people say, hell yeah, go to Philly. Look at that offensive line. They run the ball a lot. That is true. If you take a step back and you say, take a macro approach, yeah, they run the ball a lot. They're a running team. They have a great offensive line, 100%. But they like to run out of shotgun, y'all. And I don't think that's utilizing Ezekiel Elliott to the best of his ability anymore. He's a downhill runner. He's a guy that you probably want a fullback in front of, I formation, get under center, You don't want Zeke having to decide at the line of scrimmage where to go and going, horizontal. You want Zeke going downhill, north, south. And I don't think Philly is the fit. Now, those reports came out and it said that Zeke narrowed down the list to 3 teams, but not necessarily that those 3 teams are interested in Ezekiel Elliott. There was an Eagles, insider, Eagles reporter, what have you, came out and said that the Eagles have not reached out to Ezekiel Elliott, and that the Cincinnati Bengals, same thing, have not reached out. They're comfortable with their room, but things can change. It's early, but apparently Zeke is trying to narrow down his selection, his choice to these 3 teams and pick a team this week or by the end of next week, either or. He'll be on a squad. That's not going to surprise me. He'll be playing next year. For who, I don't know, but Philly don't make sense to me. With that said, if he were to go to Philly, how would you feel? How would you feel? Would you? To me, it would feel like DeMarco Murray, but not quite. Like, obviously, DeMarco Murray, your franchise running back for a number of years in Cowboys, goes to Philly. Zeke, franchise running back for a number of years, go to Philly. But here's the thing. Murray was a free agent. The Cowboys were actually trying to bring back DeMarco Murray. They were really trying to hammer that home here. And when DeMarco Murray left, mind you, this is 2015. The Cowboys had at the time no DMC, I don't believe, and Joseph Randle. I think the feeling's a bit different now because you have a Tony Pollard, and we see all these running backs just come in and have success as rookies or as young guys. So I think the feel of the departure of Zeke is different from how are we going to replace him? Because he didn't come off of a 1,800 rushing yard year, offensive player of the season year. He's actually been dwindling down. So I don't think Cowboy fans are necessarily like, oh my God, how are we going to replace Zeke? I can't believe it's going to take his 1,800 yards to Philly. It's more so, damn, Zeke, you going to the enemy? I think that's how most Cowboy fans are feeling. Me? Hey, Zeke, go get your bread. If Philly going to pay you the most bread, cool. I'm not tackling Zeke, so I can't really speak on this. But I do not think, contrary to popular belief or the Zeke stands, I do not think he strikes the same fear in offensive coordinators as he struck in years past. Now, do corners want to tackle big dudes like that? Nah, right? Like you don't want to do that, do you? But at the end of the day, he's not a guy that you say, man, we can't allow them to give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott 25 times. He'll kill us. I think now you're saying give him the ball 25 times. Let him carry it 25 times. Bog the game down. Sure. Fine. So if he goes to any of these teams, I don't think he's a guy that's going to touch it that many times. Again, we just gave you the statistics. There was only, 5 backs that touched the ball 17 times last year. 3, 18 or more. Wherever he goes, he's likely going to be a 10 to 12, 15 max rushing attempt guy. And if it's Cincinnati with Mixon, it ain't even going to be that many times. If it's New York, they got the young buck. In New York, it may not even be that many times. So, if he wants to be featured RB1 guy, maybe go to Buffalo. They throw the ball out, but they need a running back. But if he wants to be a part of a duo or a rotation where he gets the rock, 10 to 15 times max, those teams could make sense if he wants to be a part of a rotation. But it was just a year removed from him saying it was hard for him to be a part of a rotation where Tony Pollard was getting the rock a little bit more in 2021. So maybe he still feel like he that dude. Maybe he still feel like he is that dude, Cowboys Nation. I don't believe he's that guy, but I do believe he can fit in a role with the team. I believe he can give you, 8 touchdowns as a goal line guy. That, that's productive stuff. Also stuff you can get in, but it's not the 10, 12, $15 million a year type of stuff if you're just going to be a goal line guy or just going to be a short yardage guy. I'm going to stand 10 toes on this. If I'm going to feature one running back or pay that guy that X amount of money, you got to be an elite dual threat guy. You got to be an elite, and not just dual threat running and running and receiving. Dual threat with that and availability. And if you are available, I can't have you hindering my team. That's hard to come by, man. At that position, that's hard. That's why you don't see teams pay all the money to the running backs. Point blank, period. All right, we got phone lines early today. I want to hear from B. Bird this morning. What's up, OG?
Hey, what's happening, Scott? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, one of the things, and I'll tell you, is that this thing with running backs has happened over the last 15 years or so.
Yeah.
I don't really think the position has changed. I just think that what they've done is the 1,500 yard back, 18 touchdowns, they divided that within 3. And so then if you go, a guy has 800 yards, how are you going to go to the negotiating table demanding $10 million, $12 million? You can't do that.
Right.
And so I think it's been a concerted effort, because they don't want to pay all these positions like prime money. You don't want to pay the quarterback $40 million, you got to pay a running back $25 million, then you got to pay a wide receiver $30 million. So I think it was by design that we're at this place right now. One of the things I was going to ask you is that with the thing that always kind of nobody ever gave me a good answer to this was before Zeke was cut, people was like, well, we need to keep him on the team. But the thing about it was you can't keep him on the team at the number that he has. But what number would Zeke have? And nobody answered this question, would have taken that wasn't disrespectful to him because of what he made prior to that. You get what I'm saying?
Right. We're about to find out.
Yeah, we are. because the thing is, to me, like the people that defend Zeke, and I like Zeke, but you just got to look at the numbers, y'all, and it doesn't add up. And so you bring a Ronald Jones in, and then you say, okay, is Ronald Jones going to give me 90% or even more than what Zeke? Well, yeah, maybe not the goal line touchdowns, but maybe he won't have to because Pollard's there, But Ronald Jones is $1 million player, man, and he's taking your spot. And if he goes in and do 80 to 90% of what you did, then that's good enough. So it's just a tough situation with the salary, with the not wanting to disrespect him with a low ball offer, and then he's not going to want to take a low offer and go into the locker room at vet minimum, man. And it's just a bad feel for him. It's a bad situation for him to be in, totally, man. So I just wanted to just bring that out, and I'm gonna get off the line, man. I'm gonna listen to you comment on that, and you have a great weekend, brother.
You as well, B. Bird. Appreciate you calling in. I wonder how the team feels, because I hear you. It's a sucky situation in the sense of his contract, his numbers, the salary, all that stuff does play into factor moving forward. But he also got the bag. I mean, he got paid. He got paid. I think it was the second most money of all time at the running back position in history of the NFL. I think it was only Adrian Peterson that might have got paid more in total monies. So Zeke got his bag, man. He got his bag. Now it's just time to move on. That doesn't mean Zeke can't go be a part of something else, but here in Dallas, it's just time to move on. That's just part of it. That's part of it. Yeah, Pat, we talked about that earlier in the roundup that, Philly didn't contact him. Zeke, I guess, has them among the other two teams on the wish list. Look, if he goes to Philly, be a part of that rotation, I mean, he definitely would have a role, goal line guy, short yardage guy. I just don't think that the shotgun running stuff fits Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think that's him. But what would the number be? I don't know what the number would be. I feel like we're going to find out. I feel like a team's going to offer him the contract, whatever that number is. Dallas probably came under that. And really, what does Zeke want to do? I think once they franchise tag Tony Pollard, he realized I'm not the guy anymore. Does Zeke's ego want to be the guy? Or was he willing to say, look, I want to be in Dallas if I got to be, more of a specific role player where I'm not toting the rock 17 times. It's more like 10 and goal line and short yardage, and I'll play for $5 million. I think he might be here. Jerry loves Zeke. This fan base loves Zeke. if he was willing to take that role, I think he'd be here. I don't think he's willing to A, take that role, or B, play for the money that they probably, I don't even know if they offered him a pay cut, but whatever they were attempting to offer him, I'm guaranteeing you it wasn't $1.2 million that they, I'm sorry, if it was $1.2 million that they gave Ronald Jones, he wasn't taking that type of deal. No way. No way, no way. DJ, what's good, man?
Hey, good morning, Scott. Happy Friday to you, brother. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Yeah, man, with this the Zeke thing, it's one of those things that there's two sides of the coin, right? There's the people who are terribly sad and heartbroken that he's gone, and then the other half that feel like we should have never extended him in the first place. And I think on both of those accords, that's trauma from being a Cowboys fan. We fall in love with certain players, we overpay guys and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not to take away from Zeke. Zeke earned the contract that he got for the guy that he was for those first 4 years in the league.
It ain't his fault they paid him 2 years earlier than they needed to pay him. That's not his fault, no.
And people forget, like, Zeke was a dude. Like, he was a monster. he was a monster. Like, go ahead.
Oh, I'm ad-libbing. You're right. He was a beast those first 3 years in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a monster. So, like, you could argue about the years, right? But he earned every single dollar that they were willing to pay him on that. Yeah. But at the same time, the guy that he was here recently didn't justify $13, $15, $16 million cap hits. It just didn't. And there was no way that they could justify to themselves, hey, we're going to keep him for 12 touchdowns and a cloud of dust for $15 million. It just didn't make any sense. So, like, sure, if you wanted to keep that guy for $2, $3 million, sure, but that was the argument we were making.
Right.
And if he was to go to the Eagles or whatever, like, I've never been like, once a guy leaves Dallas, like, I don't care, right? Like, you can go wherever you want. Go get a ring. Go to Kansas City if you want to. Get your ring, buddy. Like, do you? But that makes no difference on me because really, honestly, I was like, outside of 5 yards and in, I'm not really worried about Zeke on that front from the other side in. And you said, that you're worried about them like corners tackling him. I could argue that we wouldn't have to worry about that because he couldn't get out there. At least not the guy that we saw the past couple of years, right? Like he wouldn't be able to get out to that boundary like that anyway.
That is fair. That is fair because I remember, the early years Zeke, man, he would hit that outside and I just smile because I'm like, I know damn well no cornerback is about to deal with Ezekiel Elliott out there. So yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's a benefit to because I said it like I think before last season. Like, we don't know what a Super Bowl team in Dallas looks like because we haven't had one since '96. So we don't know what that roster looks like. So that's why we get excited when things look different because, okay, we haven't done this before. So we know what doesn't work. Well, we don't know what this looks like. Now, I'm not saying that it leads to anything because it could, injury bug could hit us or whatever. But at the same time, that at least an effort, a concerted effort from the office, and that started with moving on from a guy like Zeke who has stayed here for $8 million in the past.
Indeed, DJ.
But so that's all I got, Scott. I'll let you get back into it, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Good stuff from DJ.
Yes, sir.
I want to get one more, and that's the name I've been thinking of. Chandra was Jerome Bettis when he said, look, I am Pittsburgh. I am the Steelers." Came back with fast Willie Parker to be exactly what Zeke is, goal line running back, and he had something like 10 touchdowns, and all of them was like 1 yard or something crazy, similar to what Zeke did last year. 12 touchdowns, I believe. 10 of them were 10 yards and in. 8 of them were like 5 yards and in. It may even be more than that, but there was a ton that were 1 yard tutties, which again, there's something to that because Tony Pollard's not a goal line running back. You had to replace that goal line aspect. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you got to replace his blocking. Look, bro, I'm not keeping a $16 million running back because he picks up blitzes. Sorry. Like, that's not why we paid you. can't use that argument against D-Law with the pass rush sack stuff and then try to ignore it with Ezekiel Elliott. So there's a lot of context to this thing, but I think for the most part, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion to it because it's Zeke, man. Feed me. He was our guy, and for most fans, it sucks. But I think the Cowboys will be all right. One more. Yeah. Marcus, Super Bowl wasn't his hometown, but I'm just saying, I feel like he wanted to come back one more year, and he was willing to have that ego to be like, look, I'll play second fiddle to this young buck that's up and coming, and be a part of a team I think can win the Super Bowl at a discounted price. One more on the Zeke thing, and then we'll hit the mailbag segment. And it's only right that we end the Zeke thing with Miss Queen. Hey, what's up, Miss Queen?
You know what? I kind of knew you were going to do that. Oh, my God. I was trying my best not to call you about Zeke. I am not kidding. I was trying my best.
No, it's only fair that we get the opposite side, like the extreme opposite side of Ezekiel Elliott from somebody.
I'm extreme.
Queen, you ain't gotta hide your love for Zeke from me. You ain't gotta do that, okay? You ain't got a lot of kicking. That's your guy.
Let me I have analyzed my feelings and all that kind of stuff over this thing. I really had to do that.
Okay.
Because it's really not so much about, my dedication and loyalty and all that other kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. The concept of having to get 2 or 3 guys to do the job of the one guy is what baffles me. That's what baffles me. It's not, that. And did I want him to retire in Dallas? Yes, I did. I wanted him to retire. Maybe he'll do the same thing Emmitt Smith did. Emmitt Smith went away, and he came back, signed, and then retired as a Cowboy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I hope he does that, and I think that he wanted to retire as a Cowboy. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that bothers me is that this is the business. This is something that we have to do. We have to let players go and stuff like that. But the situation with Zeke, I can't comprehend it. I don't understand. I don't understand why you and Bosch feel the way you feel. I really don't. And I wish somebody would explain it to me.
Well, how about you explain
explanation?
What do we feel?
Huh?
What do you mean you don't understand? Because I almost every time I talk about Zeke, I give you an explanation of why I'm saying what I'm saying. But what do you mean by you don't understand?
But then I have to shake my head at it. Because you guys constantly say that you got to replace him with 2 or 3 people.
Okay,
That's what I can't wrap my head around.
So let's pause for a second, Queen. When have you ever heard Skywalker Still say that we need 2 or 3 people to replace Ezekiel Elliott? You've never heard me say that, right? So you're mistaking me for other people.
In actuality, you haven't said it
I've never
specifically.
Said that.
You didn't specifically say it like that, but at the same time, you call out the fact that we'll get this person for this and this person for that, which is the total of what Ezekiel Elliott was in that one person.
Okay.
Like you're talking about a bell cow and a person with the speed like Tony Pollard. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to do that, so that takes 2 people. So you don't have the total in one in the college right now.
So let's talk about that specifically. Queen, this is not 2016. Ezekiel Elliott is not 3-1 anymore. He's not. So I'm not ever insinuating that you're going to need 2 or 3 people to replace what Ezekiel Elliott is now, Queen. What Ezekiel Elliott is now to me is a one-dimensional downhill goal line power type back. And I personally believe you can find goal line power backs across this league. That's what I'm replacing. I'm not saying that Ezekiel Elliott is the top tier pass catcher he once was, right? Taking screens to the crib, had that elite vision and speed, hit the outside, had the wiggle. He was the 3-1. I don't believe he's that anymore, so I don't think it's going to take 3 guys to replace him. I think when you hear me talk about 2 and 3 guys, I'm talking about the running back room in general. I believe that you need to have at least 3 dudes that you give the ball to throughout a 17-game season, especially, Queen, if you're a running team. I don't think you can rely on 1 or 2 guys all year if you're going to be a team that leans on the ground. The days of Zeke 25 touches and things like that are over, man. And the statistics, the data, it's all right there.
Okay, so can I say a couple of more things?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Yep.
The one thing is, okay, so we use the excuse of Kellen Moore being the type of play caller that he was. We have to also think about the fact that Kellen Moore didn't really have a good playbook when it came to the running back. He did not. So if it affected the wide receivers, why would it not affect the running backs as well?
Okay. Why did it only affect Zeke?
Tony Pollard wasn't really where he should have been either.
Tony Pollard took advantage of his opportunities at one of the highest clips in the National Football League with a offensive coordinator, as you said here, that doesn't know how to utilize the running backs. But it only seemed to have an immense negative effect on Ezekiel Elliott more often than not. Look, Tony Pollard and Zeke are 2 totally different players, but they had the same line. They had the same play caller. They had the same offense, right? One had 3 yards or less 6 times last year. Had 4 yards or less 11 times last year. The other one was one of the top running backs in the National Football League.
He was injured.
Well, guess what? He's been injured for the last 3 years. So there's a trend. 3. In 2020, he got hurt. His knee got banged up. He actually missed the game for the first time in 2020, and he was playing on a banged up knee for the most part. So 3 years in a row, he's been injured. He has the most carries in the league. Historically speaking, you don't get better when you have that many carries and you're that banged up. So when you say you don't understand it, these are the things that I'm trying to explain to help you, understand why I think it's okay to move on.
Okay, well, so I understand now what you're saying. Yeah. The only rebuttal I have to that is the fact that, like I said, he was injured. What if this offseason he gets his, gets recovered from this injury, and then, because if you watch the different films of him when he was not injured, he was like the old Zeke. If you watch his training film, I'm talking about his the training, and him doing his little cut and all this other kind of stuff. That was the old Zeke.
Well, the old Zeke was a different animal. But
I understand he was.
Yeah, we had a productive. Yeah. So when Zeke was healthy, like, I'm not ever going to argue that Zeke wasn't productive when he was healthy. Like, I'm not going to argue that. Zeke was a productive running back in this duo formation when he was healthy. Like, I don't like the fact that I have to say if healthy for another year. I'm going into another year. Yeah, if healthy.
You and Big Game James kind of go on that. Yeah. Well, my last thing, and I'm telling you, Scott, I really love my Dallas Cowboys, but because of, and then I don't know all the different dynamics of what happened between the front office and Ezekiel Elliott. They're being very hush-hush and quiet about it. They won't tell us nothing. They won't tell us the conversations, the meetings, the negotiations. They're not telling us any of that, so we don't know who's to blame for what. You know what I'm saying? But if the front office is to blame for the fallout of it, because I think that he could have stayed here and taken a massive pay cut if his ego didn't stop him from doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been the ego. And, so I don't know. But I hope that wherever he goes, that he kicks the Cowboys in their ass.
See, and that's what I want to touch on. And that's what I want to touch on. If the front office
is to blame for the fall, the breakdown of it. But if the front office is not to blame, then it is what it is. But if they weren't being fair with Ezekiel Elliott, I hope he kicks our ass. I really do. And it's been 27, almost 28 years since we had a Super Bowl. But I don't like the way they deal with players. I really don't.
I would never understand that. Appreciate you, Queen. I'm going to touch on that
Bye.
real quick. See you. That last thing she said is something I will never understand from fans. I see it with Dak. Well, people upset how, fans treat Dak and they say, man, some part of me wishes he'd go somewhere else and win the Super Bowl and kill the Cowboys. And same thing with the Zeke thing. I hope he go to Philly and whoop the Cowboys' ass. What? I would never. I don't care, man. I'm a fan of the star. I got favorite players and things like that. But once that player's off the team, I wish you well, man. Have a, get your bread, stay healthy, do your thing. But I ain't never gonna wish another player kick the Cowboys' ass. To keep it a bean, I don't even care how the front office look. I don't like if the front office does bad things to the players and things like that. Once he off the team, I'll never wish for another player to kick Cowboys' ass. I'm sorry. I wish for the Cowboys to kick that player's ass up and down the field every single time. What are we doing here? I'll use an extremism here because y'all know how I feel about Dak Prescott. I think he's a quality quarterback that you can win with. A lot of people don't. They hate the guy. If Dak Prescott wouldn't play for whoever the hell it is, Cooper Rush was the quarterback. There's not a bone in me, not anything in me that would be rooting for Dak Prescott to kick the Cowboys' ass. No, sir. I don't give a damn if I liked him when he was with the Cowboys. So if we are emotionally attached that much to a player, I'd just rather you come out and just say it. That way I know how to have that conversation with you. That's why me and Twan we right here. I know how you feel about Zeke. I know how Queen feel about Zeke now. Zeke over Cowboys is kind of how you feel. This would sound like to me, but never gonna happen. All right, let's take a quick break. Get into the mailbag right quick, and we'll finish these calls. Good stuff here. I know we got to talk about Boston Scientific. We're going to talk about the fan focus. Queen's call will be the fan focus call today. In the U.S., more than 39 million men suffer from ED, and Boston Scientific created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. To get started, head over to edcure.org, take the quiz, find out and learn the severity or risk of ED that you have if you got a condition. And it puts you at a higher risk. You got to get checked out, man. They got content that will help you figure out what's going on. And the fastest way to find out what's going on and to get a cure is to contact an ED specialist by browsing a list of experienced physicians in your area. That's edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific. Say it with me. It ain't hard, but you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Now, you want to talk about a big Zeke fan. My bro Lee's in the chat. If y'all could see the dungeon, that's what we call it. I don't know too many bigger Zeke fans. And he's not even down with that. If he's not down with that, I know what I'm saying is right. I know what I'm saying is right. Trust me, man. I'm not going to lie to y'all. As I do this more often, I've adapted and learned to remove my emotions as best I can because I have to. I got to be real with y'all. I can't really be super fanboy all the time. But before that, hell yeah, it was hard. Des Bryant was hard. When I wasn't doing this shit, it's my guy. Mike was my guy. Yeah, man, it gets hard. Of course, we emotionally attached, but we also got to be real. You know what I mean? I ain't never put nobody. Man. Nope. In fact, I'd be pissed if Dak Prescott went somewhere else and won a Super Bowl. I'd be pissed. Motherfuckers be happy. I see it all the time on Twitter. Oh, I'd be so happy. Nah, I'd be pissed. Because it would show the ineptitude here. All right. Let's get into this mailbag segment. We got some good questions. And I got my hot take come out of this mailbag segment as well.
It's time. It's time. It is time for Mail Time. The mail's here.
You've got mail.
Let's start on Facebook with Ryan Murphy. Shout out to you, Ryan. Appreciate you with the question. Facebook, y'all gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. There was y'all gotta do better with your questions. But Ryan Murphy had a good one. He said, with us having retained LVE, bringing back Steele and Tyron, re-signing Dono, signing Cooks, or trading for Cooks really, and trading for Gilmore, doesn't our first move in the draft have to be either a stud defensive tackle or offensive lineman, help at guard or tackle? If so, which is more likely in your opinion? So it definitely feels like the trenches are the obvious favorites early in the draft, right? By the way, Cowboys Nation, of course, y'all can chime in. It feels like trenches are the obvious choice early in the draft. You never want to pigeonhole yourself, but they're plugging all these holes, and those are the two that has some obvious deficiencies. Look, Tyron feels more like an insurance now since the reports came out. We don't know how real that is. Long way to go. But if he is truly an insurance, I don't think Edoga is the answer at left guard. So that definitely makes the guard help you're talking about, Ryan, a blinking red light. So guard early makes a ton of sense, or tackle if you want to move Tyler inside, but it sounds like they want to keep Tyler out there. So that's the blinking red light on the offensive side of the ball. The defense side of the ball is clearly defensive tackle. But I'm going to believe it when I see it, that they'll take a defensive tackle with the first move, Ryan. They haven't done it. I know we were talking about, Mozzie yesterday, but in reality, these boys don't really do that. So I have to believe it when I see it. But what about defensive end? I've seen a couple mocks, Cowboys getting a defensive end mock to them. And I think it might depend on how they feel about DeMarcus Lawrence's future. Defensive end historically makes more sense for the Cowboys than defensive tackle. Although it doesn't make more sense this year because they need defensive tackle. But look, D-Law is likely here for the next 2 seasons. He's got 1 year left in 2024 and then a void year in 2025. They could cut him next year, but they'll suffer some dead money in 2024 and 2025. So he's probably going to be there next 2 years. But that's just 2 years. They could draft a defensive end and look to kind of groom his replacement. And if they love what they see in the replacement, they'll just say, hey, whatever, we'll move on from D-Law. We'll take the cap hit. Cap's going to go up, whatever. Or they'll say in year 3, time for him to step in, see you D-Law. But if you look aside from D-Law, Dante Fowler's a free agent. Dorrance Armstrong's a free agent. Tack McKinley's a free agent after 2023. It's just Sam Williams. So historically speaking, defensive end feels like they'll do that more than they would do defensive tackle. Unless Dan Quinn be like, look, man, y'all got to put some real investment in defensive tackle. I don't think that should be the move. I think defensive tackle should be the move. But defensive end, if they wanted to talk themselves into it, that's probably how they'll do it. DeMarcus Lawrence, 31 years old this year. We have a chance to move on if we want to, even though they kind of mess with his money. We don't have a lot of depth after that in 2023. They could talk themselves into a defensive end. They haven't talked themselves into a defensive tackle in the first round since what, y'all? Russell Maryland? So I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. All right, let's get to All In. Tom Downey burner account. Who's that? Tom asked a question. And he says, Scott, what is the likelihood that Dallas tries to get ahead on extensions to Diggs and or Lamb prior to the season? Hashtag Ryan Nall. Sir.
What?
I'll never hashtag Ryan Nall here. Likelihood the Cowboys get ahead on extensions of Diggs and or Lamb. That leads me actually to my hot take. And here is my hot take. The Cowboys should extend Diggs before Lamb. I'm going to tell you why. But first, the hot take is presented by Hattie B's Chicken, ladies and gentlemen. Hattie B's Hot Chicken. No conversation about hot chicken is complete without a serious mention of Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Founded in Nashville in 2012, it's renowned nationally for its authentic Nashville hot chicken. And they now have a new location in the Dallas area, down there in Deep Ellum downtown. You gotta go check them out. They got all types of heat. Southern, mild, medium, hot, the Daredevil's dream. Shut the cluck up. Again, visit them down in Deep Ellum in Dallas. Hit them up on hattiebees.com if you want to get a delivery. Or you can use the link in the description. Sign up for their rewards. You get a $10 free gift card. Come on now. What are we talking about here? So here's my hot take. The Cowboys should extend Trayvon Diggs before CD Lamb for a number of different reasons. First, CD Lamb has that fifth-year option. I will 100% use that fifth-year option. Continue to kick that down. And yes, his price can rise, but so can Diggs, okay? I understand that. Diggs' price can rise as much as CD Lamb's price can rise. But you got that in the tuck that you can use and say, hey, we'll use that X amount of money to go sign other free agents as opposed to extension or what have you. You don't have to pressure yourself to do that. You do with Diggs. You got to pressure yourself with Diggs because here's why. Trayvon Diggs ain't got a fifth-year extension. He's a free agent after this year. Not only is Trayvon Diggs a free agent after this year, Stephon Gilmore's a free agent. Jordan Lewis is a free agent. So that means your depth behind those three guys, Israel, maybe, Nahshon, Kelvin Joseph, more dire situation than at wide receiver where CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup at the very least are all here for the next 2 seasons. So you're not really stressed to make a move on CeeDee Lamb. But Trayvon Diggs, you are. If you say, well, Sky, you could just franchise Trayvon Diggs. Sure, you can. That franchise tag projection next year is $20 million. You don't really want $20 million hitting your cap hit right then and there. Maybe 2 years down the line. But if you can extend him, he won't cost you $20 million on the cap. It won't happen. If you tag him, it will cost you $20 million on the cap. And well, Sky, you can work out an extension in between time. You can, but that $20 million is on your cap. So it'll affect you being able to operate in free agency. And we know the Cowboys can be frugal in free agency. So you want them to have as much cap and less excuses as possible. So I feel like you have to extend Diggs now, or it makes the most sense to extend Diggs now over CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys Nation. Does that make sense to you? So the likelihood, it should be likely. Toxic / all-in time. It should be likely because you don't want to play around with that. Now you'll still be people out there that don't like Diggs. He don't tackle. They didn't like how he finished the game against San Fran, and they don't want nothing to do with him. That's a whole different conversation. But between the extensions of Diggs and Lamb, I think Diggs should be the priority, and they should extend him this season, whether it be this summer, during the season, whatever. Now, if they wait during the season, that price might go up a little bit. Because check this out. Diggs got him a running mate in Gilmore, so he's probably going to show out. Lamb got a running mate as well, so he's going to probably show out. But you got an extra year in the tuck where you don't have to touch CD Lamb's money right now. You ain't got no extra year with Trayvon Diggs. That's it. That's it, man. What we talking about here with Trayvon Diggs and CD Lamb extension? Where do you guys stand? Would you guys extend Lamb or Diggs first, or both? Get him out the way now. Get him out the way now. Will says CD's your best receiver. You don't want him disgruntled. If he's disgruntled because he's not getting an extension, grow up. You're still under contract, man. That's a CD Lamb problem, in my opinion. Grow up. Diggs is a free agent, Honestly, if they don't decide to extend any of these dudes, you gotta. Look, man, y'all getting paid too much dang on money for me to hear that. But you got 2 years left on your contract, CD. If anybody's gonna hold out, it'll be Diggs. CD Lamb, I ain't got no business holding out. You have to extend Diggs first. I think they freed up the newer money to extend Diggs, says King Element. Maybe, but here's the thing about the extension. You can actually lower the cap hit. If you wanted to, you can lower the cap hit on Diggs or Lamb for that matter. They're both getting like 4 and some change. I think Lamb might be like 4.8 or Diggs might be 4.8. One of them is 4.8, I think. If you want, you could drop that thing down to $1 million. So, they don't necessarily need more money to extend him for the cap. Maybe they need some cash, but they should have a cash. Look, Coach Marv came in and said there's a cash problem, but they shouldn't have a cash problem. They should have that in their pockets to give them some bread. But if the extension is going to mean that the cap rises, then probably don't make too much sense. Looking at these B-rolls making me hungry. Yeah. They gotta get it done now. Yeah, well. Charlie G dropped one. If I catch him, I'll try to get to some of these super chats.
Super chat.
Charlie G said Jerry dropped 20. Said Jerry and company finally got it right with Zeke. Time is up. You don't have the speed or burst anymore. Had it been me, Zeke would have been gone 2 years ago. You can find any back to play around the goal line. That's my opinion. A lot of people share that opinion, Charlie G. They share that opinion. Yes, indeed. Let's say I saw, if I'm saying that right, I did check out my guy, Vosh Lombardi, on 105.3 Fan. I didn't see it live, but I saw the video. The homies Reg and KG drop. Man, the relationship me, Reg, KG, Voch have, I think is so dope, man. We understand the position we're in as young black gentlemen in this industry, and we make sure we got each other's back in it. So I love when I see them invite them on. I appreciate when they invite me on. And we make sure we try to hold it down for our community when we're on there. But Vosh was fantastic, as he always is, on 105.3. Speaking of Charlie's, let's get Charlie Murphy.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing on this Friday?
Good, man. Working. So I'm just calling, checking in with you, man. Basically, I'm getting a little bit more discouraged that this Bobby Wagner thing probably isn't going to happen, but
I'm
getting more encouraged on a certain big man in the draft that we could get probably in the second round from Baylor, 335 pounds, 6'3".
Ika kid, right? Is it Ika?
Yes,
Ika?
Yes.
I never pronounced that dude.
Yes, Ika. That man is crazy. I just watched him. That man is crazy. He'd definitely be a huge upgrade over Hankins. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just being overhyped, but
I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like Mozzie better, but I like the kid. Yeah, for sure. If he was on this team, that's what we need.
Yeah, it is. I think if Bijan is there, probably they're gonna end up taking him.
Is it Siaka Ika? Is that how you say it, Professor O?
Yeah, it's Ika.
Okay.
Siaka Ika. But yeah, man, I think he's gonna be solid for us. But if we got him, my biggest concern is I want to make that defense a juggernaut. You know, like help Dak out as much as we can with that juggernaut defense because I feel like we've already handled things offensively, and Zeke being gone, no disrespect to him, will be helpful towards that more than harmful with him being gone in a lot of aspects. But you know what I mean? Like, you think Zeke being gone is going to be more helpful than harmful?
If those are the only two options, yeah. I mean, I think the Cowboys are going to be fine at running back without Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I do too.
The real question is we got to get the offensive line together, right? Like we got to make sure the offensive line is right and the scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you more leaning towards investing in that O-line and getting them through the draft in the first round?
Yeah, I'm not out on offensive line in the first round. I mean, look, you wish that you could just develop the Josh Baldwins and Matt Waletzko and who's the other kid that was a center and then he went to guard? Fournier. Yeah, like you want to develop those dudes into starters. But if you get a guy high on your board at a position of need, sitting there, and you know you need that guy because you don't really have the answer right now, man, you just got to pull the trigger.
100%. I don't even want to hear the name Josh Bell. I hate that man. Y'all made me laugh. You and Voch last offseason talking about Josh Ball. Y'all did one episode, and I was driving.
It probably was in camp.
Oh my God, it was in camp. And Voch said something about Josh Ball, and I started dying laughing. I was Ubering, and I had someone in the car that I was driving for, and I was playing y'all all the time, and I started crying laughing. But no, man, I do think like Terrence Steele is a restricted free agent, and his injury, he's coming off a ACL, so I feel like I would like to see a little bit more insurance, offensive line wise. That way, your left tackle and right tackle aren't having possible injury issues. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a recipe for a whole lot of heartbreak when you come into a season full of hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate that ACL
if they're putting insurance pieces everywhere else.
I hate that injury for Terrence because he was never a hurt guy. It was a freak.
No, he wasn't.
A freak situation. I know this gonna sound crazy. Fortunately, it was just an ACL though, right? Like not some catastrophic type of injury that could be career threatening. And he's apparently ahead of schedule, so he should be good to go. And he's not a receiver, so I think it's a bit different. I'm a bit too optimistic on the Terrence Steele side because I actually look at him as a guy that's going to fortify the right side of the offensive line. I am more worried about
trust me, I do too.
Yeah, I'm worried about Tyler Terrence. I'm more worried about Tyron Smith and them relying on him.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, you go offensive line Avila, or you go, what's his name, Harrison from OU.
Oh, Anton.
Anton. Yes, I love Anton.
We were doing some mock drafts on Voch's show, and yesterday the tackles actually dropped, but last week they took like 4 or 5 tackles in the top 20. So if a tackle drops to you, the conversation, I wonder if it gets interesting in that war room. I really do.
It is definitely a need to get interesting in that war room. There's no need for a top tackle to fall to you, and y'all are like, well, we're just gonna take Bijan, or we're just gonna take Mozzie. Like
look. I love Mozzie. I do, but I understand that tackle, has is a higher value and not just buzzword, but it obviously has a higher value. So if one of those top tackles are staring at you at 26, it's hard for me not to hand in that card, depending on who else is on the board.
100%. I feel like, D tackle, like getting a big dude in there.
And closing.
You broke it down. Yes, sir. You broke it down, I think it was yesterday, with all the options that we could do besides Hankins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are legit options. A few of them could be upgrades over Hankins. But it's a lot harder to get that upgrade at offensive tackle to allow you that flexibility, as well as not having to stress about what the fuck are we going to do if Tyron goes down or Terrence isn't fully right until midway through the season. But, yeah, man, that's it. I'll leave you on that. But appreciate you, bro. I'm still waiting on that drop for when I come in for Charlie Murphy, man.
Hit me on Twitter again and remind me so I can download. I got time.
Yeah, I will, bro.
All right, bro. Appreciate
big
you.
dog. Love you, man.
Salute. Yeah, I got to talk to Vosh. Maybe that's a conversation we'll have today. Tackle cannot be ruled out, right? We can't rule that out. I mean, the only way you can rule that out is if you're completely out on Tyler Smith playing guard. That's it. If you're like, hey, look, he ain't playing no damn guard. That's our left tackle. Then I guess you can be like, look, we don't need to take a tackle at 26, but I'm not relying on no damn Tyron Smith to play left tackle. And according to Bobby Belt, which we don't know how much truth is there, but they're not looking at Tyron Smith as a starter. They're looking at him as insurance. Siaka Ika. So it is Ika. God damn. Siaka Ika. Definitely getting that drop for him all in time. All right, we got here 1, 2, 3. Let's finish the mailbag, and then we'll finish off with the phone lines. Our guy DP Johnson, he dropped a question. He said, with Lamb and Cooks trading off in the slot, keeping pressure on safeties, what is a realistic expectation for Michael Gallup? So Michael Gallup is 99.9% just going to be a predominantly X wide receiver. He's your pure X. He's played over 90% of the snaps there the last 3 seasons. That's what he does. And then clearly with CeeDee Lamb and Cooks, you don't need him to do anything other than that. My expectations, I'm trying to lower them a little bit because I understand we didn't really like what we saw last year with Michael Gallup. I understand we shouldn't need to lean on him as much as we were trying to lean on him last year. So here's what I want to see from Michael Gallup. I just want to see him regain that confidence that he had prior to the ACL injury. Coming in and out of those breaks at the top of those routes. He was very sure of himself. If you go watch 2021, you watch him in 2022. He was very sure of himself coming off of a calf injury in 2021. But if you watch him in 2022, there's obviously, there's that mental aspect of the game, which it comes with having ACL issues, right? I want to see him regain that confidence in and out of those breaks at the top of the routes, at the catch point, etc. I want to see him be a dominant red zone threat and a dependable possession wide receiver. I don't need him to necessarily be my deep threat anymore. I'm not saying you take that out of what is already a limited route tree anyway. I'm not saying you take that out, but you got Diggs now. You got Cooks now to do that. And honestly, I'm hoping I see a little bit more of CeeDee Lamb going downfield. I feel like we didn't really utilize CeeDee Lamb downfield enough. So he's more going to be the slant guy, back shoulder guy. We run him on some 9s here and there. But where I think that Michael Gallup could have his most definitive role this season is in the red zone, man. He was a cannon in the red zone, before the ACL injury. Throw it up. Let him go get it. Let him be a dominant red zone presence that he can be. So an ideal year, like a perfect year for Michael Gallup, I think would be similar to that 2020 season. When he played opposite of Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Like that would be a great season for Michael Gallup playing opposite of Cooks and CeeDee Lamb. But if he doesn't reach, high yardage total, 800, 900, 1,000 yards, I would settle on 600 yards and 7 touchdowns, most of them being in the red zone, because he could have a predominant role in this offense in the red zone, man. I think he can be like that in the red zone. I do. So my expectations are lowered, and realistically, I can see 600, 700 yards, 5, 6 touchdowns, and I think that would be fine because I think Cooks and Lamb could be fantastic. So I don't need Michael Gallup to be any more than that. At the very height, the 2020 year. 2020 year. David Poole over on Instagram says, do you believe that if we spend all of our money on quality free agents and draft more weapons for Dak, this is a make or break season for Prescott if he falls flat again? If it's a make or break season for Prescott, that's the question. I don't think he can survive another poor season. I don't agree that it was a poor season last year, but he would have to go get a fresh start elsewhere. Every year seems like a make or break season for Cowboys quarterback. But if you spend all your money on quality free agents, more so trade, they don't really spend a lot of money. Free agency, or you draft more weapons, is this a make or break season? Look, if they don't extend them, yeah. Hell yeah, it feels like a make or break season. Even Dak came out and said it. It's do or die. You know? Now, I don't agree that can he survive another poor season? Like, what are we doing here? Like, Dak Prescott just ain't rolling out poor seasons. You know, ain't doing that. I would love to know what David Poole thought after the playoff victory. But I get it. The most recent playoff loss is likely leaves a bitter taste in Cowboy fans' mouth, like David Poole. And because of that, he equates that to a poor season. Look, bottom line, got to get it done. If they do not extend Dak Prescott, this will 100% feel like a make or break season. If they extend Dak Prescott, it won't be a make or break season. So, hate him, I love him. If they extend him, he's going to be here. Jose Garcia said, if the Cowboys were to take it all away, would you keep Mike or Dan Quinn if one of them is handed a head coach job elsewhere? So, Jose, look, if Mike McCarthy, I'm imagining you mean wins a Super Bowl. Wins a Super Bowl, he ain't going nowhere. Look, fam. Jerry Jones is humbled, or he should be. Well, Sky, he fired Jimmy Johnson after the Super Bowl. Fam, Jerry Jones thought he was a shit. Jerry Jones thought, he had all the answers back then. If Mike McCarthy get him a ring after 30 years of no ring, Jerry Jones better bow down to Mike McCarthy. All hail Mike McCarthy. Put him in a ring of honor. Build a statue next to Landry. He ain't going nowhere. And in all likelihood, Dan Quinn is up out of here. Dan Quinn is up out of here. He's going to be a head coach somewhere, and he should be. You took one of the worst defenses in the league, turned him into one of the best, and then in your third year, you won a Super Bowl. Go get your bread, brother. Go lead a franchise somewhere, man. Let Dan Quinn spread his wings. And look, as much as I love Dan Quinn, I am not about to sit here and try to justify firing Mike McCarthy to keep Dan Quinn. No. And let me tell you why. The offense in the playoffs the last 2 years against San Fran at the very least, or in general, has had some of its biggest issues. If the Cowboys get to the Super Bowl and the offense isn't having these critical hiccups, you won the Super Bowl because of Mike McCarthy, not Dan Quinn. Real rap. Now, will Mike McCarthy get all the flowers and love? Probably not, because you're probably going to have a really damn good defense. But I'm telling you, if the offense doesn't have these weird moments like it's been having over the years in the second half of the seasons and in the playoffs, Mike McCarthy should get a ton of flowers. So I'm not firing him. So that's the mailbag segment. Let's hop back into the phone lines. Let's get to 727. What up, though?
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are live.
Hey, how you doing there? Welcome to the show, Mr. Davis here. How you been lately?
I'm doing well, but brother, it sounds like you're talking like this. I could barely hear you, man.
Oh, let me see. I'm an old man, but let me see. Can I turn the TV down a little bit?
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clear now.
All right. Well, okay. Well, I'm just tired of all this talk about Dak and everything like that, because he's getting tired. One thing that I always tell every boss that calls me into the office and runs his mouth, I have to remind them that the door swings both ways. It may be a time that I might get tired of them instead of they get tired of me. Because, I'm a licensed healthcare professional, and I always remind them I got a license I keep it updated just because when I get tired of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That man said it's a make-or-break season for him because he's tired of all these toxic Cowboys fans all around the United States. They are crazy. They don't think Washington won't give him no big money to lead, that Atlanta won't give him no money to lead, that Tampa Bay, all these quarterback hungry and thirsty teams out there, and we up there running a mile. Look what Tampa Bay stuck with now. A Baker Mayfield? Who else out there to run around there? Scraps. And I'm old dude. I see Cowboys high. I see Cowboys low. I seen a bunch of crap quarterbacks went through the league. I've been watching 50 years of football, and I know a crap quarterback when I see one. Dak ain't one.
Not at all.
All that talk to last year, no, not at all to me, because it's all last year talking about, oh, the issue with Dak, he's injury prone. He's injury prone. He's injury prone. That was the narrative coming into this season. Now they're talking about, oh, well, he's a turnover machine. He's a turnover machine. It's always going to be something with him, and he's sick and tired of it. He can take his act somewhere, get paid, because he knows he's going to get paid. He's going to be a 10-year veteran. Who don't get 10-year veterans some money and leave away? They're going to roll the red carpet for him anywhere he goes when he leaves it, and they're going to blame these fans and the front office for what Dak was. They're going to say he's much more better. He can more relax now. Even the cowboy, your boy, hey, I'm tired. He's going to love him then. He's going to have nothing but good things to say about him. So, man, we got a good team. Coaching takes a lot into it. The team is able to coach him up. I think we got a good coaching staff. And I'm going to leave you with one thing to ask you about how you feel about the guard position, because I think we kind of slack in the guard position.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, fantastic call. I'll answer that question. Appreciate you calling in, man. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, take care, brother.
You too, man. This the type of vibe I got from him, man.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Love it. Love the energy. Love what he was saying there. Work backwards. What I think about the guard, it's the blinking red light, man. It's a blinking red light. I think you can get you a good one to plug and play. You know, from 26 on, them first two picks, I think you can get one. It's just a matter of, a lot of draft people, they don't want to take certain players in the first round. But look, I'll say it just like I said about Tyler Smith. When Tyler Smith was selected, I liked other players. So, boom, initial reaction, the emotional part of the reaction is, hey, man, I like this player better. All right, remove my emotions. Does this pick make sense? Made sense. You needed offensive line help. You needed a guard. Tyler was going to play guard, and he had the flexibility to play tackle. So, if the Cowboys take a guard in round one and it's a guy everybody says you could have got him at 58 or wherever the Cowboys pick, look, it's a position the Cowboys needed to take. So if it happens early, you won't see me sitting here complaining about it. The Cowboys need to address the position. Cowboys need to address it. Man, he's on fire, wasn't he? Look, if Dak was a free agent, there'll be teams lined up to sign Dak Prescott. 100%. Come on, man. It does baffle my mind where a lot of Cowboys fans be calling them trash. But those Cowboy fans I don't like to really talk about. I'd rather the Cowboy fan who don't like him, but don't say he trash. Rather, he not trash. I just don't think he can get it done. And then we can have a legitimate conversation. But there's real life fans out there. Real life fans that think this dude's not a good quarterback. It's baffling to me, man. 267, what it do?
Yo, Sky, let's go get that number 13 from Florida, Braylon Waddle.
All I just hear a bunch of noise in the background. Who this?
It's Chris. Can you put me on hold for a second?
Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna put you on hold, big dog. Let me save your number too, real quick, so I can know it's you. I don't know what you got going on back there. 832, you just dropped in. What's up? Get it, set it off. I set it off. But 832, you live.
Yo, what up?
What up?
Hey, man, I was calling in about, I'm first time calling, man. This is Mike B.
Oh, what's up, Mike B? Appreciate you calling.
I was calling about that boy Kansas from Pitts. What do you think about him, man? First one in the 26th round.
Me personally, for the Cowboys, I wouldn't select him. But I think he's a good player. Undersized defensive tackle, explosive. I don't like the Aaron Donald comparison just because he's undersized. He's not Aaron Donald. But I don't think he should be a realistic option for the Cowboys. I think they got enough 3-techs. I think what they need is somebody to complement those dudes.
Yeah, but you see that guy's tape, man. That guy's explosive. That boy is nice, man.
He can play.
Nice, man.
I don't think he's going to win with no bull rush against NFL linemen, but the kid can play. This ain't Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but I know. I'm just saying he is kind of small, but
really
he's
small.
a bad boy, man.
Yeah. Look, Kansas is a baller, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call.
Appreciate it. I listen to you every morning, bro.
Thank you, fam. It really when y'all be in this chat, when y'all call in, thanks for the call. And y'all say that, I told Michelle this. It still blows my mind that y'all come through every day and listen to me blabber on for sometimes 2 hours. It means a whole lot, man. All right, look, Chris. Let's see if you're ready. Chris, you good? All right, gotcha. Loud and clear. Much better.
Yeah, because I was sitting there. I was like, yo, I hope he doesn't call me right now. 2 quick points and 2 quick questions. I can eliminate either or if you don't have the time.
I got time. We in overtime. It's Friday. I'm good. What up?
So I want people to stop thinking that Dak Prescott had a bad season last year just because he had a bunch of interceptions. Like, any coach or general manager, like the people who really, really know this stuff, like on like that next level, will tell you interceptions are not a number in a column. They're a play-by-play thing. There's so many things that can happen during the course of a play that can cause an interception. Now, don't get me wrong. There are interceptions that Dak should be held accountable for. There's some interceptions where it's like if you're throwing the ball at the anticipation and the receiver's not in the right spot, that's not on the quarterback. He did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm 10 toes on this, bro. The interceptions will go down next year. The efficiency will go up. Just by the simple fact that we're not running that style of offense with those caliber of players anymore. I think Mike McCarthy having understanding of game, having his West Coast style of offense is only going to help it's going to help Dak Prescott. So, look, maybe I'm overconfident, but he the last thing I'm worried about when it comes to this offense. I think he'll come ready to play. I'm more so interested to see how Solari integrates, how Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer integrates, and then when it comes to him making the play, that's when we'll have to evaluate Dak. Like when it comes to those moments where, all right, dog, look, ain't nothing working, we need you to step up. We can come back to that, but when it comes to this offense, I'm more worried about other things than him.
And then, so that leads me into one of my questions. Do you think it would be wise for them to get like a slot receiver, maybe in like the 3rd round or something like that, like maybe like a Marvin Mims, just in case, like let's just say Gallup doesn't return back to form? You could play, like obviously CD's going to play in the slot, but you can play him more on the outside, so you can line up Cooks and get Lamb on the outside, and then line up one of those, slot receivers to take that, to play there.
That is a fantastic question. I might actually. Are you going to watch the round table later?
Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to watch that thing.
But hit me up with that question. I want to talk to the guys about that because as you were saying that, I was sitting here thinking, look, man, any receiver would be great in the 3rd, 4th round or whatever as depth. But I got to thinking when we were talking about Quentin Johnston yesterday, he had came up in the mock drafts. And I'm like, well, if you draft Quentin Johnston, that's your ex receiver, that's your Michael Gallup replacement. And as you're sitting here talking about moving pieces, you don't really have an ex receiver outside of Michael Gallup. So when you say draft a slot guy, I mean, look, more receiver depth is fine. But if we're being honest, maybe you want to draft an A.T. Perry. Maybe you want to draft one of these guys that can play the X because you don't have a lot of depth there. Semi Fehoko on the roster, but we don't know what Semi's going to do. Jalen Tolbert, we don't know if he can deal with that type of beating at the line of scrimmage just yet. He's more of a Z anyway. But maybe it's X that you draft as opposed to a slot because Cooks can go inside, Lamb can go inside. They want Tolbert to do some of that And if you really want to get funny with it, you could throw a little dude in there, Turpin. But they don't got many X receivers on that roster.
And that I got another draft question. So Vox was talking about John Michael Schmidt in the first round, which I love John Michael Schmidt. I'd be going crazy if we drafted him. But do you think, like, maybe later in the draft, like 5th round, if he's still around, draft Andrew Voorhees, and then if Biotic is playing funny, you can move off Biotic, put John Michael Schmidt at center, and move Voorhees to left guard.
Hey, now we don't just say Biotic no more. It's Pro Bowl center Tyler Biotic. Okay. The conversation about Biotic is more so: do you re-sign him? Tyler Biotic is starting center. You find starting center. John Michael Schmidt, if you were to draft him, play guard and take over for Tyler Biotic, so you don't got to sign Tyler Biotic to a long-term deal or whatever. I don't think if you draft him, he's playing center right away. I think he'll be a center of the future. Kind of what Philly did with Dickerson. Dickerson is supposed to be the center that takes over for Kelsey at some point, but he's going to play guard. So that's what I would do. And again, he's another one of those guys. Look, if you take him at 26, there's going to be Cowboy fans that are going to be pissed off. And I'm going to say, well, it makes sense. You need a guard. And then he can also play center when Tyler's gone. Shit, that might even be – he might have more value than the Osiris Torrances of the world, who a lot of people have the Cowboys taking at 26.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then one quick point. It drives me crazy when I see people saying, it's this is it for Mike McCarthy. Like, I don't think that's the case. I mean, like, what other coach in the league has had this much success with a team, and then all of a sudden we're looking at him and saying, it's a make or break year for him. I think Mike McCarthy's done a very good job as the coach of this team, and not only that, he's kind of pushing the envelope with the Jones. Like, they weren't doing this stuff with Jason Garrett. Like, it's got to be coming from somewhere. I think Mike McCarthy's in their ears saying, like, we got to get guys. Like, we're close here. Like, we got to win now. These things don't come around all too often.
Yeah, I said this the other day. I think we should be giving Mike McCarthy a ton of credit, man. Because I was one who was questioning whether he had any, let's be real, any balls. Sorry, ladies. But because the Joneses felt like they just snipped him. And he was just along for the ride. And I was questioning whether he was worthy of keeping around, even though the team, the players loved him. But what he did to me this year in kind of putting his hand around Kellen and defending himself and pushing back a little bit, you need that. We talked about that confrontation, right? I know it wasn't as, so much drama, but there was confrontation between Kellen Moore and McCarthy. And I think that confrontation actually sparked that the real reason why you were able to hold tight without Dak Prescott in those 5 games, aside from your defense, right, is because Mike McCarthy told Kellen Moore to sit the hell down with this passing stuff and tighten up that playbook. That mattered. That confrontation mattered. And then we found out at the end of the year that it was real life confrontation throughout the season, where we had philosophy differences. So look, man, he got my respect. Now, if he go out here and get whooped on in round 1 of the playoffs, that's not going to sit well with the Joneses. That ain't going to sit well with the Joneses. So he got pressure. I mean, I got respect. That don't mean the pressure, we just take our foot off his neck. He got to go out there and make sure he coaches thing up. And look, he got even more pressure now, Chris, because it's his offense. There ain't no Kellen Moore. It's your offense, dog.
Certainly. Yeah. Well, Sky, have a nice weekend, bro. I'm definitely tuning in tonight. And, get that number 13 from Florida, Braylon Model.
Braylon Model?
Like Jalen Waddle.
I was about to say, you
Model.
talking. Hey, that's so funny you say that because we got Marv. He gonna end the calls today. We got Marv on the horn, so shout out to Marv. All right, man.
Hey, Marv. Take it easy, guys.
Salute. Yeah. Braylon Model. I better leave Marv alone. I better leave him alone. All right. Oh man, our writing brother never calls in this late. Let's get him on real quick and then close out with Marv. What's good, Mr. Ronnie?
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. God bless you. And your family, like always. See your boy, Watch Lombardi. I just got two quick questions. Do you think that now that we got these good picks, these free agents, do you think that we're going to go for a defensive tackle, one of the studs in the draft?
I hope so. The best case would be to hope that one of them falls to 58, right? Like I would love for Mozzie to fall to 58 and you take him in the second round. Defensive tackles should absolutely be something that they look to address before the damn draft. If they don't do it before the draft, 100% they need to address it during the draft. I am of the mind frame. I'm kind of tired of just throwing these bodies, these 6th, 7th round bodies at the problem and then signing a veteran and hoping that lasts. Like I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather take the risk of grabbing a young stud and hoping that works out or developing him around what is already a fantastic defense. So that's where I'm at with it mindset wise. But if they're not going to draft a young stud, then they better throw some quality veterans at that position, man, because it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, because like you said, if we get a good stud, a good defensive tackle in that middle, I really think this could be the year because now that we got both good corners and we got a defense that really hits and we good. I just really think that we need that defensive tackle so the linebackers can run freely. And also, too, I really think that this year, Dak Prescott is going to do even better.
The conference has been locked.
Having all these crazy routes, he's going to have that simple West Coast offense, and he's going to do better. Matter of fact, I think he's going to play. I don't want to go overboard on this, but I think he's going to play like when he first came in the league, and we ain't going to see all those interceptions. I really don't. I really don't think that he's going to throw in interceptions like that because of Mike McCarthy is the way he schemes things. He's going to put him to do good and not to fail. Because I think Kellen Moore he just wanted to go pass happy.
Yep. I think he'll be better as well, man.
Okay, well, that's all I got for today. Like I said, like always, God bless you and the family in the show, and you keep up the good work, my good brother.
Thank you, Mr. Ronnie. Enjoy your weekend, sir. Hey, look, I know from a statistical standpoint, we look at that Dak Prescott rookie year as the height. I think he was better after, but I think he'll be better. I think he is better than that. I think we look at the stats, 22, 6 rushing, 4 picks, and that's all we look at. But if you actually watch him play, man, he is such a better quarterback. He's so much better than that. So if you put him in a better environment, schematically, coaching, what have you, he's going to be better than the rookie year. Sure, he may throw more than 4 interceptions, but you still can be better. And I know DJ dropped a super chat. Let me get to it real quick. DJ dropped a super chat talking about interceptions. Good segue here. He said, you don't want 15 picks, but let's not forget that every league leader in interceptions since 2000 has had 20 plus picks. Any other year, Dak would have been ranked 8th through 15th. Yeah, you definitely don't want 15 picks or 15 plus picks. And I said this before, if it's going to happen, if you're going to throw that many picks, you got to have that Tony Romo year. Remember when Tony had like 36 touchdowns, 19 interceptions? Look, I don't want that year. 2007 was fun, but my goodness, Tony was fun. And it was his first time starting and that feel. We got a quarterback, even though it comes with, turnovers. But you almost got to throw 40 touchdowns to combat 15 plus interceptions now. So yeah, you don't want 15 plus picks, but if you got a quarterback that's throwing 40 plus tutties, you're winning ball games and they're performing in the clutch. Probably what is happening is those interceptions, you can get tips, you get misread. There's an explanation to a lot of those, but I personally don't think he's going to throw 15 plus picks. Y'all can hold me to it. You can screenshot it, screen record it, write it down, take a picture, whatever you want. I don't think Dak Prescott going to lead the league in picks. He's going to have 15, 16, 17 interceptions. I don't think that's going to happen. Y'all snuck up in here too. A couple of y'all callers. I'm trying to end this thing with Marv because Marv, it's Marv. But let's get 2 more quick ones and then we'll get to Marv. 832, what's up?
Hey, Skywalker Steel, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. What's up?
Hey, man, this is Mark from Houston, Texas, by way of where the hell is this? Live, Arizona, I think they say it is.
By way of AZ in the H-Town. What up?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man? Hey, look, real quick, love what you do. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, look, man, people don't have to leave that alone. It's okay if you don't like me. You need to be honest about that. I think what Mike McCarthy is going to do with his offense again, people shouldn't be surprised if Dak does throw it maybe 30, 35 times a game. But I would say a good 8 short passes are going to be getting the ball out of his hands. So this is about Dak throwing it too much. It's not about Dak, but it's about him, what kind of souls he's going to be having to face based on what they're going to do offense. And also I think, again, Dak is a soldier. And if Dak needs to do anything, he needs to learn how to be a field general. And that, to me, comes down to who's been in his ear since he's been in the league. If they could chop this whole Don Coryell, Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore offensive tree down and burn every branch. That's what they ought to do to me. But if they're not going to do that, then I love the fact that he's finally going to have a head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback, direct line of communication. Sometimes it's about who's coaching you.
Yes.
The coaching matters in NFL football more than people want to believe it does.
Been screaming that for so many years, bro.
Yeah, hopefully that's what happens. A different voice in Dak's ear. Somebody, not just the whole, because people want people to yell at Dak and fuss at the cut mouth, but that's what we do a lot of times.
Yeah, no.
Somebody needs to show, that's fans. That's fans. But what they need to have Dak do anything is let Dak be Dak. I want Dak moving. Dak's biggest place to come when he has been on the move. Dak is as much a playmaker as anybody. Is he as dynamic as a Lamar Jackson? Is he as a wizard like that? No, of course not. No. But some of Dak's best plays have been when he has been himself, meaning he's moving, he's finding people, he's in a scramble drill, and if he has to, he'll put his shirt down and run over DB if he's out there.
Yep.
I want that. I want that. I don't want Dak to be anything other than that, and he's pretty good enough as he is. So go ahead, do what you do, Scott. Love you, man. Take care, and holla.
Salute, man. Fantastic call by my man from AZ, but he in H-Town. Salute. Yeah, man, look. Coaching absolutely matters. Something I've been saying since Jason Garrett been here. Coaching matters. I think the scheme will help, as I saw somebody drop in there. Getting Dak on the move is critical. Mina Kimes, she dropped a video last year talking about Dak Prescott on the move, pre-leg injury, post-leg injury, and how dynamic he was, one of the best passers on the move, one of the best playmakers on the move. West Coast is 100% going to bring that back. You'll see him get into this play action situation where not play action from shotgun, but play action under center, where that really pulls those linebackers, no matter if you're running well or not. That's a myth that has been debunked. But getting under center and running play action and getting him on boots, oh, man, come on. That's another reason, I ain't going to go to the tight end situation, but, we've had this discussion where people say, Ferguson only got bootlegs and play action. Bro, we about to run the West Coast offense. Tight ends are probably going to get half of their receptions 10 yards and within the line of scrimmage. And if you got a tight end that got some wiggle like Jake Ferguson, hell, you want to get him going on bootlegs and play actions and allow him to be one-on-one with a corner or a linebacker. So, you can't worry about no tight end if you ask me. Mark Smith, what's up?
What's up, Sky?
What's happening?
Hey, it's been a minute since I called, man, but I just wanted to chime in.
You say that every time, but you call every week.
We should draft the offensive line in the first round or defensive tackle in the first round. My thing is, man, we better draft a running back in the first round, and I think it should be Gibbs. Because after this season coming up, we got Pollard on the franchise tag.
Yep.
If he doesn't sign more than this year, the only running back that we'll have on the roster next year
on the phone,
will be Malik Davis. So I would say draft Gibbs, which is a perfect replica of a Tony Pollard, You rock with Malik Davis, and you rock with Gibbs, and you got two dynamic backs that's on your roster under rookie contracts, and you can give yourself time to be able to keep building around the team in the running back position, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. Now, I do think we need to address the offensive line, but we can do that in the later rounds. And I also think we should get another receiver. But, yeah, that's what I think we should do, man. You know, I like Zeke, and I hate that he's gone from the team, and I'm not going to get into all that debate anymore about that, because I know everybody going to kill me for what I say, just like y'all did Queen. But
oh man,
those 12 touchdowns got to be replaced. And I don't think Ronald Jones or Rico Dotto could replace those 12 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they was from 1 yard out.
I was just about to ask you. So you don't believe Ronald Jones can score 8 1-yard touchdowns if given the opportunity?
Ronald Jones couldn't even get on the field in Kansas City last year, Sky.
That don't mean nothing. Kansas City is different. You know
that means a lot.
No, it doesn't.
That means a lot.
No, no.
Just my opinion. Now,
but here's my question. But you didn't ask my question. You didn't ask my question. Do you think that you don't think that Ronald Jones can score 8 1-yard touchdowns if given the opportunity like how many opportunities does Zeke get at the goal line, man? Like 30? You don't think he can score 8 1-yard touchdowns? Come on, dog.
I'm not gonna say that he can't, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say that he can either, because in Kansas City last year he had those same opportunities and he couldn't even get on the field.
No, he didn't have those same opportunities. He wasn't given 30
because he couldn't get on the field, Sky.
Yeah, he was in Kansas City. They didn't use him in that way. Okay, so look, he didn't fit in Kansas City. Didn't work out. Pacheco came up. Pacheco was a beast. I mean, let's not knock Pacheco here. He's a beast.
Hilaire was there.
McKinnon fit. Yeah, McKinnon was a guy that fit.
And McKinnon was there.
And exactly. So he just didn't get on the field for them. When he did get on the field in Week 17 against the Raiders, you want to take a guess where he scored his touchdown?
Week 17, Scott, the season over with about Week 17, man.
Yeah, do you want to know? Well, not for the Raiders.
The season was over in Week 17.
Right. But I'm asking. But I'm asking. Do you want to take a guess where he scored a touchdown?
But the contract that he signed.
Do you want to take a guess where he scored a touchdown? You don't want to take a guess. Well, let me tell you where he scored a touchdown at the goddamn goal line, sir.
No. I'm not saying where. I don't even recall the game, so I can't.
I know you don't recall the game. That's the problem with some Cowboy fans. We sign certain players. They don't watch them. They don't study them. They get emotionally attached to other players, and I don't want a team no more. And they say, well, this guy can't do X, Y, T.
Like I said, I love Zeke for what he did when he was here.
You said that, Ronald. I don't care if he scored 8 1-yard touchdowns, as if dudes can't get 8 1-yard touchdowns if given an opportunity. And that's the question.
There's a lot of backs that can't, Sky. Just look at Philly. They had their quarterback running most of their goal line and 1-yard touchdowns as opposed to their running backs.
You're making.
I would much have a running back take that punishment as opposed to running my quarterback.
You're making my point. A quarterback scored a bunch of 1-yard touchdowns. You mean to tell me Ronald Jones couldn't do it if he got 30 attempts? Come on, man. What are we doing, dog? Like, look. I'm not saying Ronald Jones.
That's why I said I wasn't gonna get into the Zeke thing, Sky. You my man. I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but we in it now, and you know how I am. If I hear nonsense, I'm gonna call nonsense out. That's just how I am, fam.
Okay, that's your opinion. You can have that. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I got my opinion as well. So I'm just saying that we got to draft Gibbs at 26. To replace Pollard, because we don't have nothing else outside of Malik Davis going into the following season on contract.
Yeah,
I would much rather have 2 rookie contracts at the running back position as opposed to continue to pay, because then we run back into the same thing we had with Zeke. Now are you overpaying the running back to have him here?
This is interesting. I don't want to do this, but so you said we got to draft a running back in the first round?
Yeah, for sure. Your better running backs are going to be drafted. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could draft other running backs that be successful outside of the first round, but if you want a running back that's a sure hit like Gibbs is, you can't pass up on that if you're there at 26. You got to go ahead and take that because he's your replacement for Pollard just in case Pollard decides not to sign besides the franchise tag. And that's my point.
Well, look, I like Gibbs. You know, I like Gibbs a lot. If the Cowboys drafted Gibbs, that'd be awesome. I don't agree that we need to take
I'm an Alabama fan, man. I watched them play every week. I mean, he was hurt for 2 weeks.
That's your guy.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he my guy. I like Will Anderson too, but I'm not a big Bryce Young fan. So it is just not because I'm an Alabama fan that I'm saying this. Understand, he's the perfect replacement for Tony Pollard for everything that he can do on the field. And I heard another show where we was talking about we need some competition for Turpin because he ain't guaranteed to do nothing either. Gibbs return kickoffs as well.
Yeah, that was here.
So you got him the same way Pollard did when he was first, before he got on the field a lot, he was returning kickoffs as well. So you got an all-around dynamic back, man, that could do a whole lot for you, that's not going to cost you a lot of money, and he still can be a dynamic back and help your team.
Hey, look, you ain't
That's
the
all I'm
only
trying
one.
to say.
You ain't the only one. We have Foots on here. A lot of fans are pro Gibbs, but appreciate you, Mark.
All right, man. Y'all have a nice weekend, brother. I bless you.
Bro.
I'll be looking for the round table tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what time, but I'm sure Vosh will post it. I'll see you then.
I know it'll be late, but I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, Foot's gonna be hitting us up. Hey, I'm out here DJing that. Yeah, that's what Foot's doing. Man.
Exactly, man. God bless you,
bro.
Sky.
Salute.
Everybody else, Cowboy Nation, God bless y'all as well. Let's keep rocking.
Let's roll.
DC for L, baby.
Yes, sir. Gibbs, man, look, he's getting. I put out the video yesterday of Jahmyr Gibbs RB1. We were talking about that with Foots, and a lot of people, man. Hey, look, when you live, you don't really get a chance to see everything. So I didn't know how y'all felt about Gibbs being RB1 over Robinson or the preferred choice over Robinson. But a lot of people, I posted it on Facebook, posted it here on Twitter, posted it on Instagram. A lot of people kind of agree. They like Gibbs more. Look, I like Gibbs as well. Now, I don't agree with the fact that the Cowboys need to take a running back in round 1, but look, if Gibbs is on the team, he's a good football player. If they decide to move on from Tony Pollard, he's your Tony Pollard replacement. But Ronald Jones can score 8 one-yard touchdowns. I think he can. I don't think he's going to need to, and I agree he might not make the team, might not need to make the team, depending on what they do in the draft. But, man, what are we doing, man? Damn, Zeke got us on Marv, what up, Marv?
What up, family? I've listened to Queen. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Queen. Let me get you something. Queen. I'm old school.
Old school.
My favorite halfback of all time is Tony Dorsett, TD. That could take it from 99 yards, take it anywhere. The most dangerous halfback ever. Him and Dwayne Thompson. Go do your homework. So if he get traded, I'm still with a Cowboy. I was hated when he went to Denver. That's how I be, Queen. Gotta let it go. Feelings. What's that song y'all play? Feelings. Can't worry about that. Now, with the halfbacks, man, it's like 20 halfbacks the Cowboys could draft, and they could get 1,000 yards.
20?
20.
Marv, you the king of hyperbole. I love it.
Yeah, man. Even your boy, he talking about even the Texas A&M halfback take it all the way. What's it? What's his name? A-Chain?
A-Chain.
A-Chain. He could take it all the way. But Gibbs is dangerous. Bearsby, he did a pro day the other day. He ran a 4.4. 4.4. It's at the Combine, he ran a 4.5, but he ran a 4.4 the other day. So even big, if you get the Army back, we win it. You know what I'm saying? So Pollard, if I was you, Pollard, you better go on and tell Jerry Jones now, try to get $5 to $6 million a year, do a 3-year deal, so you can have some money. Because I know you know the trend still is what the Cowboys like to do. And I know y'all hate this. They will reward you. Okay, give them that $15 million. And they'll let you have your $15 million. But what that means, when they come back to you next year, my buddy, Cowboy, he's going to say, still, now I'll let you get $15 million, my baby. You see who I got in the house? I got Gibbs. I got this other halfback. I love you, brother. I don't need you now.
Oh, yeah. I don't. Look, I don't. If I had to guess, you're talking about TP, right? Tony Pollard?
Yep.
Yeah, if I had to guess, and I could be totally wrong here, but if I had to guess, I don't think they're going to extend Tony Pollard to no big money contract. But maybe TP doesn't want a big money contract. Maybe TP looking at this landscape and he goes, look, man, I'll settle for a 3-year, $28 million or whatever, 4-year, $29, $30 million. Maybe he'll settle, but
And what you better do, hey, if TP, if you listening to this call, I think you better go in there, tell your agent, hey man, let's get this contract out the way, so I can be here, guaranteed money. And then after your 4 years, you made your money, and then bye-bye. Yeah. 3 or 4 years. Don't do like Zeke, because everybody crying over Zeke. Zeke made $50 million, well, $70 million.
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah.
He's fine. He's set for life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He got in his feelings, and they came to him. Cowboy, Zeke, we love you. My daddy love you. What you want to pay for? Zeke probably kept saying $8 million.
Hey, look, you on to something, but maybe not that aspect. But I do think they kind of came to him the last 2 seasons, or maybe inadvertently came to him and said, "Hey, look, Tony Pollard's going to get involved. Right? Whether you like it or not, we got to get Tony Pollard involved." But you had Jerry coming out and saying, "We go as Zeke goes. Zeke's my guy." But those coaches were like, No. We need to get this number 20 to rock. What are you watching, Jerry? The 20 needs to touch the ball. Every time he touched the ball, good things happen. So I think the coaches appreciate what Zeke was, but also understood you needed to incorporate TP in there.
Thank you. And look, I'm watching films right now. There's another Kentucky halfback that run a 4.3 that Pollard came from. He in the draft.
Can he run up to Miller?
Yep.
Mm-mm.
And you can go and look. I'm watching morning football, and the quarterback that's gonna get drafted, threw a 50-yard bug to him coming out the backfield. So y'all guys worried about something? Man, don't listen to the people on TV. I'm like you. I'm following whatever wheel in that house, and they say, hey, man, they go for a tackle or guard or a halfback or a receiver or a DN or a corner. I'm happy with it.
I'm going to sit back. I'm going to react, but I'm going to sit back. As long as the pick makes sense, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Now, if it's some random, I don't think tight end makes sense, but if they take tight end, I'll be a little bit pissed off longer than I want to be. But eventually, I'll come around and figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. If they pick the Notre Dame tight end, I ain't going to be mad. Because he'll block it. He can block. So you know what they're about to do. Because like you just said, I was listening to you. You made one thing that made sense. Now, with the tight ends we got, you don't know if they're running or passing. So he could be on the center, and he fake and hit for a 15-yarder to 89. You see what I'm saying? Or 10 yards. You see what I'm saying? So you don't know what the Cowboys gonna scheme you with now, and that's better. Because that other coordinator, I can't stand him because he wasted 2 years. He lost. Remember, I got on your show And I told everybody, I said, guys, I always want to say it again. I like to say it to you. We had 2 minutes and 51 seconds in Dallas against the 49ers, and that sorry offense couldn't even move the ball. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That would have been Tom Brady.
Twice.
Everybody would have scored and beat San Francisco. And then we had it
Brady,
again.
a different animal.
We couldn't even drive last year. We had the ball again before he do that stupid. That's what I knew. He threw a pass.
Who you talking about, Chandra?
I'm talking about.
Oh, not you. Chandra, she's dropping all these things about watching the tape, but I don't know who the hell she's talking about.
Oh, remember, then last year against 49ers again, we had a chance to go down and tie it up. But look, let's take it back. The game is tied 6-6. Me and all my friends watching the game. I said, okay.
In close.
I said, yeah. I said, we drive here. We even get a field goal. We're going to beat the 49ers. This nigga, excuse my French, run a stupid option watch. 2nd and 2, and we throw an intercept. Oh, that pick. We almost broke the TV.
2nd and 2, we come out.
So we got the cats out of the house. So I don't care what halfback they draft. It could be the Baylor halfback, the Illinois halfback, the Syracuse halfback, Auburn halfback. There's so many of them. Yeah. So we good.
We good, man.
So people, good show still.
Appreciate
Love your show. Cowboy fans, please stop crying about a halfback and an old-ass tight end.
The old-ass tight end.
Old-ass tight end. Before you leave, they was bragging about that tight end. In his first year, our tight end did better than him. He brought a guy on the team. It took him 3 years to become something. And like y'all said, the coach said it, even Coach Morris said it. We made a tight end more famous than our number 88. What kind of dumb stuff is that?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel you, Mark. Hey, man, enjoy your weekend. You working at Magic City this weekend?
I got to work tomorrow.
You got to work
Today
tomorrow.
It's a Sabbath. Tomorrow night, get ready for the Sabbath.
All right, man.
Don't
Magic
work.
City tomorrow.
Relax, chill, Bible study, and then I work tomorrow night.
Boy, you be safe out there tomorrow.
Always, man. Y'all be safe. Where you at? You live in Texas now?
Yes, sir. I'm in Dallas, yeah.
You love it?
Oh, hell yeah. I ain't going nowhere. I'm playing roots down here.
Oh.
One. Playing roots.
You and your girl? Both
Yes,
of y'all
sir.
moved there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Get
you,
that
sir.
ring on her finger, man.
100.
Marriage is on her.
100.
Stop playing around.
I just look. I might have a ring on her finger before the damn Cowboys get one, but hey, it is what it is, man. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, still, we getting that ring. Put it
I
down.
hope so,
We
man.
getting
I
that
hope
ring.
so. Yeah. God damn. All right, Mar. Take care, man.
All right, family. Have a blessed week.
You too, fam.
Salute.
Salute. It's our guy Marv, man. It's always an experience, man. It's the Marv experience. He be saying some things in there though. I'm still trying to figure out who Chandra talking about. I don't know. Tight end? You talking about tight end? I don't see it. All right, let's get to these super chats. Need the take off cap button. Hall of Fame Cowboys dropped one.
Super chat.
Explain a little bit more on this one. He says, Sky, you need the take off cap button. I don't know what that one means, but appreciate donation. We got the DJ's world already.
Super chat.
Dro Knows dropped one and said later round cornerback to look at. Eli Ricks. Oh, already familiar. Okay, so later round. I've been seeing him going top 2-3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that wrong? Oh, thank you, Professor O, because I didn't know what she's talking about. She means Darnell Washington. Oh, wait. I love Darnell Washington. If you follow me on Twitter, I've constantly said if they're going to take a tight end in round 1, I like Darnell Washington. I don't want to take a tight end in round 1. Let me make that clear. These are two separate things here. I do not want to take a tight end in round 1. If they were to take a tight end in round 1, he's one of those big 3, and he's the guy I like a lot. All 3 of them bring something to the table, so they all have their pros and cons. I like Darnell Washington. That don't mean I want to take a tight end in round 1. Yeah, I would be a little peeved for a little bit. But if they took Darnell Washington, for example, I'll come around, okay, how do we make this make sense? All right, now Darnell Washington and Jake Ferguson are your tight end 1 and 2. Because of draft pedigree, you might have to hope that Darnell Washington can be tight end 1 right away. But tight ends don't translate that damn fast to the league. They usually take some damn time. Kyle Pitts was the only wide receiver option in Atlanta, so they threw him the ball over the place. And he was more of a receiver. But Darnell will probably be more of a tight end 2, in year 1. Block guy, 12 personnel, play action. Not going to ask him to go downfield a whole lot, catch the rock, be a tank after the catch, and use him with Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson will probably do more of the downfield things if you need to stretch the field a little bit from that point. You can split him out, but he plays in line for the most part. That's how you can make sense of it. Then you hope that Darnell becomes good enough to take over for Jake Ferguson, because you ain't investing a first-round pick in tight end 2. So if you took a Darnell, you took any of these, but if you took a Darnell Washington, I don't necessarily think right away he's tight end 1, because I feel like he's going to take some time. He's going to need some time. He plays tight end. That's a tough position to translate right away. So I just don't feel the need to take one. I think Jake Ferguson good enough. And then there's so many good tight ends later you can take to put as tight end 2. So for the millionth time, that's my explanation on tight end. 3 of those first round guys, they're good. They got their pros and cons. If I had to take one, I like Darnell Washington. Yeah, send me that joint, L. King Element dropped one.
Super chat.
He says, imagine carrying a baby for 9 months just for it to grow up and think Max Duggan could be better than Dak Prescott. Who in the hell was thinking that? But you know what? Let me not even ask that question, King, because there are Dak Prescott haters out there that probably do think like that. So let me just go ahead and shut up. Then we already got Charlie G's. We don't work them 304s. Marv, go get the number 18 from Phoenix, Andre Hodgkins. That's what you was saying earlier. Mel dropped one.
Super chat.
Or not Mel, L dropped one. It said, note, you fell in love with these players because they play for your team. If Zeke was drafted by the Eagles originally, would the energy be the same? I had to put that on Twitter. Towboat dropped one and said,
super chat.
If Zeke goes to the Eagles, the jersey burns will be lit. Oh, they definitely going. People gonna burn the jersey. I don't even buy jerseys no more. But breaking TVs, burning jerseys, I'm not doing all that. That's crazy. And that's it. That would do it for the super chats. Let me close this out right here. Boom, boom. Hop into the chat. See what y'all talking about. Does the explanation make sense for the tight end? Because it feel like it comes up all the time. And I'm just like, yo, why are we? Maybe because Brian Broadus brought it up and he said it has some legs. And obviously it's a possibility. It's out there. But that's just not where I'm at with it. Fresh King, we are able to transition backs and tight ends the easiest on the Cowboys. Well, running back is notoriously the easy position to transition. Not even the Cowboys in the league. What makes you think? Why is tight end considered to you one of the easiest transitions? I'm trying to remember how many tight ends were drafted in year one. They were those guys aside from maybe Jason Witten. Everybody else they drafted, they had to be tight end 2. So again, if you're drafting the tight end 2 in round 1, that's crazy. And if you're drafting a tight end 1 in round 1, it's going to take time. Like it's just going to take time. Now they can have a specific role, and here's the other thing I said about tight end. If I'm taking the tight end in round 1, 9 times out of 10, that dude's going to have to be one of your top. Well, for the value to work, it needs to be one of your top targets, one of your most productive guys, et cetera, over the first couple years. Because you got 4 or 5 years to make it work. You don't want to wait to year 3, 4, 5 for it to hit. Like somebody said, Dalton Schultz, it took him year 3. Now, granted, there was some context to that. You want it to hit now, especially in round 1. So Rolo said tight end, running back are not premium positions. Draft BPA at premium position round 1. the historical data is there, man. So many tight ends drafted in round 1 just don't pan out until a little bit later. Especially not year 1. You're not drafting round 1 for year 1, but it takes some time. I get it. I know, Swain. I should have said Darnell Washington. Special Case said, I'm DT, running back, wide receiver in round 1. Fresh said we had some talent in between Bennett and Rico. We had talent, and those guys were not drafted in round 1. Those guys were drafted. Are you talking about Hannah? It's a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. Swaim, a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. Those are the talents you're talking about. Jake Ferguson, 4th round pick. Blake Jarwin, undrafted free agent. Dalton Schultz, 4th round pick. Kittle, 3rd round pick. Kelsey, 4th round pick. I keep going. Iceberg Q, tight end is hardest position. Tight end is the hardest. Blocking assignments and route concepts. Exactly. It's not an easy transition. What they have to, the responsibility is a lot. They've got to know all the passing game concepts. They got to be able to read coverages. They got to be able to do receiving things. But they also have to understand and know the running game, run scheme, duo blocks, down blocks, getting outside. It's a lot on their plate. Especially if you're not going to be Kyle Pitts. So we're just going to send you out there and play receiver for the most part. Oh, Kittle was a 5th round pick. Hell, I thought it was a 3rd round pick. Maybe it was flipped around. Maybe Kelsey was 3rd, Kittle was 5th. Nonetheless, even some of the greats aren't drafted in the 1st round. In fact, most of the greats in the last decade at the tight end position are not drafted in that 1st round. Greatness Blog said to try to call in. Catch me Monday, man. I locked up the phone lines. All right, man. Good stuff. If y'all enjoyed today's show, make sure y'all hit that like button. Later, no Vach, but it's all good. No Vach Lombardi Live, but you can catch the round table, baby. Vach, Foots, Law, myself, Okoye will be rocking on probably Law, Vach, those channels. Who else? Probably those 2 channels for sure, unless they screen grab it and stream it elsewhere. But you can catch us later tonight. I don't know what time. Probably 9 Central, knowing how Foots get down. So probably about 9 Central, we'll have an actual time for y'all on Twitter. So follow Vach. Vach will drop it. We'll retweet it. And on YouTube in the community. So make sure y'all do that. No primetime show today. It's Friday. Mo is off on Fridays, but y'all can check him out, AZSportsDallas.com. Check out all the fantastic articles and the work that they are doing over there. The new website's lit. We're going to hopefully have the ability to put our own individual videos up there. Like, we're really trying to get y'all to go to the website. I'm advocating for an app. Like, I'm trying to get A to Z Sports Dallas to get an app, because if we get an app, that's a game changer. Now y'all can watch the show on the app. Come on, man. I mean, I know y'all watching the YouTube on the app, but you know what I'm saying. If we can get an app popping, that'd be great. So we're going to keep pushing for all that. And then next week, I should have more information on our new segment that we'll be bringing to the table each week. It'll be a fun one, man. It'll be a fun one. With that said, I'm going to hit this button for the last time this week. The Kangs. Like that. Hey, L, I actually might make a drop. I might make a drop with that, man. L said the Kangs. Where'd it go? Talking more Cowboys talk. We in there. Let's go, baby. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Good stuff this week. I had a ton of fun. We out.
Wow!